Hello, my name is Tahir Kashif and welcome to my channel. I got into neckbeard stories about a year and a half ago. They're great fun. Between the entitlement, the unearned superiority complex, the bad body odor, and of course the fedoras, these good gentle sirs provide a wonderful cocktail of cringe. How can you not be entertained by tales of these guys? Over the year and a half I've been following neckbeard stories, I've gotten into channels like Walter Fate, Moonhorse, Fun with Failure, and the man Red X. Sorry, I had to do the obligatory shoutouts. I thought it might be a fun idea to compile a list of the worst 5 neckbeard stories that I've come across. To be on this list, the story has to be real. I'm not considering made up stories, and since I'm not considering made up stories, you're probably not going to see the Deadpool Beard saga on here. Also, a couple of disclaimers. This is not going to be an extensive retelling of each saga. And 2, I might be missing stories. During the process of compiling this list, some stories may have slipped my mind, and if you think so, please comment below. And if there are neckbeards worse than these 5, please comment with a link to the story, because I do plan on coming back in a couple of weeks after I've read the comments and revised this list in the future. Okay, so with all that being said, let's get into this list proper. Number 5, Slendy Beard. Emotional manipulation is a bitch move. Let's get that out of the way. Slendy Beard pressured the story's protagonist into doing things that she was uncomfortable with. Worse yet, at one point he got one of his friends involved in the emotional manipulation. And he's so dense that after hearing about her fear of heights, he gets the OP on the Ferris wheel, has the operator stop the ride at its highest point so he can give her the world's worst kiss. This scumbag takes it a bit further. He goes after OP's mom while her sister's in the hospital. Marinate on that for a second. He hits on her mom when the mother's sister is in the hospital. What a subhuman lowlife. And the cherry on top is he tries to make a move on a girl who's been assaulted before just to quote unquote get back at his ex. And then even in his apology, he tries to get bestial videos of her. Can I say that on YouTube? I'm gonna leave that in. But nevertheless, I encourage you to read the story. This guy, he just doesn't have his head on straight. Number 4, Christian Grey Neckbeard. Now this guy, another emotionally manipulating piece of garbage. This arrogant, entitled thimble of a man gaslit the woman he dated to try to drag her down to his level, just so he can have some false sense of superiority over her. Worse yet, he turns every one of his mistakes and spins it to try to make it seem like it's her fault. He always felt he had to be right. You know, I have to think that despite his outward arrogance, his entitlement, and his gaslighting, I have to believe that deep down, he, as well as other people who emotionally manipulate, they have to know how pathetic they are. Am I wrong about that? They have to. They have to know how pathetic they are. Christian Grey Neckbeard did a lot of fear-mongering and trying to tear down the girl he was dating in the story. And in case you need to hear this, don't let this happen to you. Don't let anyone hold you back or tear you down, fearmonger to you, or deter you from what you love. If they do, leave them in the dust where they belong. Alright? That's going to be our agreement, the agreement I make between me and you who's watching this. Okay, number 3. Wolf Beard. My goodness, Wolf Beard. Where do I even begin? Do I bring up the repugnant hygiene, or his creepy constant come-ons towards hot women in his vicinity? And all this despite the fact that he was engaged. This cringe parade was a compulsive liar, but the reason he's here and at this point in the list is the scope of his emotional manipulation. That's why I'm putting him at number 3, while the other Christian Grey Neckbeard and Slendy Beard, Wolfbeard did it on a greater scale. After getting harshly rejected, and deservedly so, he lies about being abused to get sympathy from a woman who actually did have abuse in her past. He plays a group of friends against each other just to hope, in his hopes, try to get laid. What a pathetic pile of garbage. Number 2, Deadpool Beard. Again, we have this theme of emotional manipulation, guilt tripping, pity party, the whole 9 with this guy. You don't win in relationships while trying to get pity. If I may go off on a little bit of a soapbox mini right here, if you can't get something on your own merit, that's a sign that you might have some work to do in order to be able to earn that thing. For instance, if you have trouble finding a relationship, that might be a sign that you have some work to do in order to become more attractive. But going back to Deadpool Beard, this guy, he threatened suicide if the girl didn't date him. But it doesn't stop there. He constantly made non-consensual moves on Eden, and he tries to force himself on her at the end. That's why he's number 2. He's just a total scumbag and old enough to know better. Before I get to number 1, I encourage whoever's watching this to send me neckbeard stories in case you know someone who deserves to be on this list. However, I sincerely don't see anybody unseating the person who I'm about to name as the worst neckbeard. Number 1, Weezy Beard. I have honestly never had so much hatred for a person I've never met before. But honestly, I kind of wish I can take a crowbar and beat his brains in. Even this guy actually cut out a lock of a woman's hair to do a magic spell on her. He guilts the protagonist into spending time with him to go on a faux date, only to blow up publicly. Then he actually did force himself on the story's protagonist. And if that wasn't bad enough, he was caught doing things of a very unsavory nature to a girl who is 6 years old. So yeah, fuck this guy. He's a complete waste of functioning organs. So there you have it. Those are the worst neckbeards in my opinion. So what do you think of my list? Are there any that I missed? If so, please comment with a link to the story in question, and subscribe, because sometime in the near future I have something really cool coming. I have a really interesting project coming up in the near future, and I would love for you to be there to see it. Until then, all the best. Peace.